Good morning. Our hand today is going to be pocket aces. Aces are usually not interesting, but we're still just going through pocket pair hands. So this is the hand that we had on the button, and I open raise. So I think that's pretty standard. We're going to go with this entire range here as the open raise. And then the button call, or the small blind calls, and he's the only one. He's playing 42-2, 60 some hands on him. The small one, he's played 29% of hands, 2 out of 7. Trying to figure out how he played those hands. Those might have been like just folded around to him, and then he limps maybe, because he doesn't have any call 2-bet stats here from the small blind. Doesn't have any. Like we've got 3-bet versus cutoff open. Yeah, 3-bet versus a cutoff open is 0 for 2, fold the blind steal. We just don't have a whole lot. So I'm just going to look at his regular stat. It looks like he's very passive, does a lot of limping. Sometimes calls when he plays. So I kind of put together a range that looks something like this. I'm going to assume that he would have 3-bet kings plus. You know, those are premium pocket pair hands. I think suited aces, offsuit aces get played now. I have 2 aces, so that really limits what he's going to have. I think pocket pairs are probably in his range. I just think in this spot, normally the small blind's not going to be defending as widely as, say, at big blind. But we still have to come up with a range, and because he's so loose, I think these kind of hands fit inside his range. So we see a flop of ace king 7. Pretty big. We have basically all the cards, all the big cards that are out there. We assume that if he had pocket kings, he would have raised. He would have raised with it. And then had he raised and we called pre-flop, this would have been very nice. He checks. You know, I might bet small and expect to see him to call it at some point. He would raise big because he would have those pocket kings when we take a stack. So we see this board, and villain leads 1, and that is just, I'm just going to say that sucks. That 100% sucks. I was going to check behind no matter what, because we've got, I mean, we hammered the board as far as I'm going to say. Yeah, the club could be out there, but with the ace of clubs on the board, it eliminates all the ace, you know, the club ace X hands. He can't have those. I guess he could have the king X, you know, the club king X hands. But, you know, he's got kings maybe, king X. And when he bets here, you know, he's leading out probably to see where he's at. He does donk 40% of the time. And that's 2 out of 5. So we're looking at, I don't think 2 pairs is going to be leading here. I don't think a good ace is leading here. Maybe ace 9. Yeah, maybe ace 9 and lower could lead. I think a middle pair is leading here to see, do I have the ace or not? And that's probably it. I don't know if like a 8s to queens would lead. I say usually no. Usually it's going to be top pair or that second pair on a board like this. So that's his range. And right now we've got it just like crushed. So I don't really see a reason to raise, because if we raise, he's just going to fold all of his hands. And most likely hand, I think, is going to be the king X, because there's only 1 ace left. That's it. So I think it's different with our sets. So if I had a pocket kings, I might raise, because we're targeting the ace. Yeah, I might raise with if I had a pocket kings or pocket 7s. because we would assume ace X would call that raise. But here, yeah, I think when we figure out our checking range definitely is going to have that ace. A7, king 7. Yeah. I think we check ace king. Or I'm sorry, call. We just call. Yeah, I think we just call with ace king. I think we just call with ace queen and probably ace jack. I think we're raising our flush draw. We're raising the gut shot. I think we're raising most, maybe all of our 2-card backdoor flush draws. I think we're being aggressive here. We've got those big hands, and then maybe we're calling these bottom pairs and maybe these 7s. I think with these hands, we're turning them into a bluff. I think same thing with kings. Kings are going to be called. These are going to, or kings are going to be raising. These are going to probably be raising. Because if we can get them to fold like a king X, that's great. And that's definitely one that's in his range. So, yeah, we've got those. But if we take out, 2 aces, look at how that changes now. So now you're looking at 56. More than half the time he's going to have kings, a king X type hand. This is just, I do think we should be raising. I think the kings, these flush draws, and then we've got some of these other hands. Some sets we're raising, some 2 pairs we're raising. I think some of our 2-card backdoor flush draws we're going to be playing as looking to see if we can catch a little something. So those 3 are probably calling. I think here, some of these hands that might catch. Let's see here, 8-6, 8-5, 9-6. Some of these hands that are like straight backdoor flush draws. 6-5, 6-4. We can then turn into bluffs. So a lot of these weaker hands, if he checks to us on the turn, we could easily fire, even if we don't improve. Because I think he's going to give us credit for the ace, and then we'll probably need to fire twice. And if he has like ace 9, ace 8, he has ace 9, ace 8. I think more than likely, though, we're looking at a king. So I think that's going to be our calling range. And then the 2 diamonds hits. So now he bets a little bit bigger. So he bet 1. So go back here. He bet 1 into 7, and now he's betting 2.2 into 9. I think at this point, maybe he improved. I still think 2 pair is going to be betting more. I think top pair is looking at some hands. I don't think middle pair What's his aggression stats look like? Yeah. He can bet. So maybe middle pair. Maybe he thinks, yeah, maybe he thinks I have the club. But I think two pair is going to be betting larger. I think with top pair he could still be scared of me having like a better kicker with my ace. Maybe he's got a turn flush draw a diamond. So maybe those are the aces that he bets. We'll leave them all in there. All right, so now the question is, what do we do? When do we raise? We were already playing it slow. I think now we can raise. Maybe get a call. We can raise up to 7, 8 big blinds. I'm not super worried about the board. But definitely I think we're not going to be bluffing as much. I think he's definitely improved on this board, and he's liking his hand now. So we had called with some weak hands, hoping to connect. So I think what did I do? I think I just called here. I would have said we're raising set. I think we're raising two pair. I think our top pair is going to be used as a call. And then I think for a bluff, let's get this over here. I don't want to raise the flush draw because I don't want to raise and then get blown off our hand if he happens to have a good hand. So I think we want to raise with something that is like we don't mind folding, and I think it's these hands that we don't necessarily mind folding. So these are like the under pairs, the 3, 4, 5, 6, probably. 3, 4, and 5, maybe 6. I think we can use those for a raise. And that means then with our calling range, we're calling with our top pair, we're calling with our flush draws, we're calling with our gut shots. And then I think we fold our weak pairs. Yeah, like our 7s. I don't think we fold them. So I think we're looking at that as a calling range. So I think I messed up. I think I probably should have just raised here. 4 club, and this could be part of the reason why. If we raise here in a club, and he has like ace 9, ace 10, he's gonna call. But if a club comes or a diamonds card comes and he's really scared, when he checks and I bet to try to get some value, he can fold, putting us on a flush draw. And that's probably what he's going to do now. So he checks. That's no big surprise because I don't think he really has a strong hand. I have to bet. I should be betting. I bet half. And the question is, if I bet half, what do I think he's going to call with? Well, maybe he calls with just the top pair. Maybe he's calling just to protect. We've got both aces out, so that's only 40%. He's folding 60%. Now I think he was going to call more, or more likely to call. Oops, and then yeah, we got to get the what is this, 4 of clubs? Yeah, he's got. I mean, definitely he checks. I don't think the flush is going to check. So I think 2 pair probably calls, and maybe some of the top pair. But when we take out the aces, now we're looking at this. If we just have those two, he's calling 40% of the time, and I don't even think he's got a lot of these. I mean, we have a lot of these ace X hands, and if he has them, he has them. But I think if we raised on the flop, or on the turn, he's not necessarily going to put us on a club, and it's going to be more likely that he calls. So if there's only 50% chance that he calls with these top pair hands right now, had I raised the turn and then he faces this bet, I think he's going to be calling it, 80% plus, maybe 100% with that. So I think we missed some value. So I did bet. Based on all of the hands that he played, I think we're betting two pair. We're betting top pair here. We've got a good top pair hand. And then I think we're just betting as bluffs. And this will probably be way too many bluffs in our range if we bet all of these. Yeah, so we're going to look at hands that I think that don't block anything that he might have. So King, Queen, King 10, King Jack, I think are all hands that he could have. I don't think we really want to bet those. I'm thinking more like those is what we're going to bet as our bluff at this point. So we've got good two pair. We've got good top pair. We would have raised the flush draw before. So we would bet, and then he calls, and I think that's going to be the only thing that he calls with. So very strong that he has the ace. Hold on, I guess we have to go back here. Unblock those because we've got, that's what we have. So we bet he calls. Yeah, he shows King Jack. I think that's right, as we were saying. I think we want to kind of unblock it. He called here, so kind of misread on what he would call. I think that's a hand when we raise the turn, he's going to probably call the turn, and he might actually call the river. I think we would get more money had we raised the turn, because remember, he bets 2, and then I'm going to be raising this to 8 maybe. Well, I guess it would be about the same, about 3 times gets us to a 6, 7. Yeah, 7, about 7 would be maybe just a little bit, but then we also, if he calls, I think we fire again, and there's a chance that he calls with that King Jack. So we've got called from 2-bun, 10-8, okay, King Jack. Yeah, we've got all of those. We're going to take some more notes on him, though. So he called, button, 3 big blind, steal, in small blind with King Jack off. Let's get the actual King, spades, Jack of clubs. Now he's out of position. Donk 1BB, bet 2.2 BB, and then check called on an ace of clubs, king of diamonds, 7 of clubs, 2 of diamonds, 4 clubs. All right, so I don't mind the check on the flop, or the call on the flop. I think that's good. We hammered. We've got most of the cards on the board, but I think I missed some value by not raising the turn. I think this is definitely a hand that I should raise the turn with, and I think we're getting called. I think we're getting called by quite a few hands. All right, hopefully you enjoy this hand. If you do, look tomorrow for another.